This kind of situation is looking rampant now. If you look at the case of the ruling of the Supreme Court in the case of Sopoluku Ezeonwuka of the PDP from Orumba North and South of Anambra Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, it was a case where Justice Kekere Ekun ruled and also asked the lawmaker at that time to vacate the seat. It was a case of involving primaries, and this is this kind of case that we are seeing again, where all of the confusion in the emergence after the primaries. It looks like it's a major party problem, and we are still seeing this kind of problem. What exactly is your take on what has become like a regular occurrence in our political life?
Right. Thank you. The political parties in Nigeria are fond of political manipulations at the primaries. Section 87 is clear regarding procedure for the conduct of primaries in preparation for election. And I think even in the decision regarding Dorothy, the Supreme Court held that there was no compliance with Section 87. The Congress was not held in the senatorial district, in the constituency where it was supposed to be. And so if you don't do that, there is no compliance with the provision of the Constitution. The other reasoning and the wisdom of the Supreme Court is that if political parties are fond of doing this, the only way remedy can be given is when they can be punished in a situation and a circumstance that we find ourselves. So the political party will now know. Because I recall the presiding justice that delivered the ruling, when judgment was delivered, she now said she hopes that political parties will learn a lesson from this. Because political parties, in most cases, somebody will suffer, he will prepare for the primaries, and somehow, there will be a manipulation. Can you imagine a situation where appeal committee of a political party, which is, of course, their decision should be final in that little circumstance, reach a decision and then the party did not follow? So the only way to cure this is that decision of the Supreme Court, so that whoever by impunity assumes a position and rises to this level cannot escape the real wrath of the Lord in the circumstance.
Honorable Wesley Dausa, as a lawmaker, as it stands now, what kind of amounts are we looking at? Will it be all the benefits in terms of allowances, in terms of salaries, or what exactly in the eye of the law will the lawmaker, the two lawmakers now be refunding? Is it going to be everything, or is it just going to be salary or allowances? Which part of the monies they got will be refunded?
Well, their basic salary will have to be refunded, and all the recorded allowances which they got for the purpose of carrying out their job as the legislators will also have to go. And if they have been allocated vehicles for the purpose of doing committee job or conducting constituency tour, such vehicles or its equivalent in money will also have to be returned or refunded to the coffers of the Federation. Interestingly, the order is not that it will go to Dorothy. Perhaps she will find her way in Parliament and find a way to make a case for herself. But first, the order is that it will go back to the federal government coffers, and being a decision coming from the Supreme Court, it's a very solid indication into what could be happening in the future, because this is a clear invitation to politicians to desist from desperation, because if you realize that when you rush into an office, you may rush out with more grievous consequences, then you will have to understand that you have to be properly elected to validly occupy an office in Nigeria.
Okay, just before we go on, just before we take a breather on this one, I know very much a lot of Nigerians will remember Honorable Hembe, that time where she went face off with the SEC DG at that time, Ms. Arumo, and what has happened? It became a very popular. What can you remember of that lawmaker who was your colleague? You were in the House of Representatives at that time, Honorable Wesley Dausa. This happening to him, it looks so much that he's lost to a woman this time around again. It looks so much that he's not been able to find his fate when he gets into the battle ring with a woman.
Well, I think this is a coincidence. You have to understand that some of these women who are either technocrats or in the political arena, are very dogged and intellectually strong and very, very resistant in demanding their rights. So one can no longer use this as a measure of sex or sexuality, as the case may be.
But what can you say about Honorable Embe? Now he's going to lose his seat. He's been seen as a notorious lawmaker. If you look at some of the things that has happened to him, controversy is always been in the middle of controversy.
Well, he's a lawyer. He will come to practice, join us here, and then, of course, re-strategize and make a political decision for his future.